my channel, Kazzy here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about Geekerella by Ashley Poston. If you don't know what Geekerella is about, it is a Cinderella retelling with a geeky fangirl twist. It follows the story of Danielle, who is a blogger, and she loves this television show called Starfield, and she loves it with a passion. She has a blog where she writes about this show in whatever shape or form that she fancies, but her favourite show is getting a movie reboot, and she's not happy with the casting, and she goes onto her blog and gives the new lead a scathing dressing down. She hates this casting. She thinks it's going to be just another heartthrob in this movie just to get in the girls and just to get eye candy. He's not going to know anything about Starfield, so she's just like, it's going to be a lost cause. Whereas on the other hand, Darian, he is actually been cast as the lead role in the new Starfield movie. He actually is a huge fan of Starfield, and so he actually has to play the dumb card when on the publicity wagon. He has to, you know, answer questions correctly and then answer questions incorrectly just to get the fans, just for publicity. But he, as I said, he loves this show. He and Danielle end up communicating through text message on their phones because Darian wants to get out of a convention appearance, but this convention was set up by Danielle's late father, and so he finds the number online, but she's got her father's phone from a hand-me-down because, you know, wicked stepmother wouldn't let her have a new phone, and so she has his, and so his number is still the old one. And Darian texts him like saying, "Hey, can we get out of this arrangement?" And so he starts talking with Danielle, and Danielle wants to attend this cosplay competition at the convention that her father set up so that she could win the grand prize, get some money, go to LA, see the premiere, and escape from her wicked stepmother. But obviously, being Cinderella, the wicked stepsisters have a part to play in this cosplay costume, and they are the roadblock for it, and so that's what this story is pretty much about. I had heard quite a few people talking about this book. Some people had been hauling it, some people were like excited for reading it, some people actually did reviews on it, and so it was very cute. It was the prevailing opinion. It was very cute, it was very nice, it was very good, and I loved the characters. And so I wasn't really expecting much from it when I decided to pick it up. Like, it had been like staring at me in Waterstones and Easons anytime I'd gone in, like going, buy me, hello, buy me, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll get you, no, I'll get this one instead, or oh, I'll pick you up this time, no, I'll get you. And then I just decided to bite the bullet and get it, and oh my holy sweet Voyager nacelles, was this amazing. From the first chapter I was like, this is me in a book. I thought I was looking at myself. I thought I was reading myself. I absolutely loved it. The character of Danielle I immediately bonded with because she is me. Like, as a Star Trek fan, okay, I came in when Voyager was still in the air. So this was like 2000. And I absolutely fell in love with it. And then it got Enterprise, and so that was a new series that was coming onto the air, and I went through all the excitement of the new series, the casting announcements, the ship design, and I've been through the episode teasers and everything, and even now with Star Trek Discovery I've been through the same thing. Castings, designs, uniform, everything. And even more so, Star Trek got rebooted into a movie series back in 2009, I believe, and even then, casting, ship design, uniforms, everything. And so obviously I had my own opinions about them, you know, like, oh, that's not the right blue, that's not the right gold, that's not the right red, that's not the way that Uhura does her hair, that's not the way Kirk is, that's not the way Bones is, that's not the way, you know, this is. And even now with Discovery, I'm like, what is this uniform? That's not right. And so I'm like, why is it now suddenly gone from red, gold and teal to gold, silver and bronze for all the departments? And I really identified with Danielle when she was doing all of this, and she was blogging all of it, and I'm even blogging all of my reactionary thoughts to Star Trek Discovery. I really identified with her fangirl side. I love being a fangirl, and this book made me even more proud to be a fangirl. And at the end, when at the convention, like, everybody, whenever they hear of a convention, a sci-fi convention, they all think of nerds dressed up as Vulcans or in costumes or as Klingons or dressed up as Doctor Who or in insert any fandom here. But in this book, Ashley Poston really grasps what a convention really is. It's a coming together of people that love the same thing, and they start friendships, they start conversations, they debate, and they discuss everything, all while valuing the other person's opinion. Their family, their friends, their best friends, and their friends that become family. We're all one in these places. And I don't know if you can see my little combat here. I loved it. And it really made me realize that Ashley Poston really has such a great and undeniable grasp of what fangirling is, what it is to be a fangirl or a fanboy, or to be a fan of fandom, what it really means to see your favorite show being morphed and changed into something that you don't necessarily recognize anymore. And she gets that, and even the fandom drops that were made in this book, it was unbelievable. All of my fandoms were mentioned. Firefly, Battlestar Galactica, Marvel, DC, Star Trek, Star Wars, Stargate. Like, Stargate was even mentioned, and the villains in this Starfield were even a Stargate species, the Nox. And I find that just so amazing. Like, I geeked out so much during this book. I smiled so much during this book. I loved literally everything about it. Even the characters that I wasn't meant to like, the ones that I was supposed to hate, like Jessica Stone. Oh my goodness, I hated her. She was just like one of those actors that I really couldn't stand. She's like, oh, I'm just using this as a stepping stone to better things. What? And whereas Darian, I loved his, like, I wanted to take this role because I wanted to play this character. I grew up wanting to play this character, and I wanted to do him justice. Loved that. But at the same time, Darian's personality had some things that I wasn't necessarily a fan of. The same with any of the other characters. Some of them, obviously, everybody has a side of themselves that, you know, somebody doesn't like. And the same with Darian. That just made him all the more believable and all the more fleshed out. I loved it. Even Danielle as well. She had her, oh, I don't like that about you side, but that's fine. I still like her. I absolutely adored Sage. She was just phenomenal. I loved her sassiness. I completely adored her. And she's kind of like the one that is the ideal friend of a fangirl, to be honest. She sits there and listens. She will watch the show with you. She will grasp it with you. She will pay attention. And she'll get excited about it. Like, the amount of times I have tried to get people that I know to watch my favorite TV shows. Like, even my ex-boyfriend, I tried to get him to watch Star Trek. It was kind of like pointless. So I absolutely adored the characters. And even if people think that Danielle or Darian are a bit OTT with their fan girly boyness, trust me, they are kind of nothing compared to me. I go to a convention and sometimes I see something and I like scream, or I'm like a beeline and I just go. The amount of times that I've been to a convention with my best friend and we've just been talking and chatting and I just stop dead and just like look at something or veer off right over there just to look at something or squeal when I find something. It's embarrassing, but I don't care. We're all the same here. We're all going to be like that. Some a bit more reserved than others, but half the time we're not. With Darian's chapters, you find out more about his castmates and how they feel about being cast in Starfield. And at times it is so reflective of real life. You know, these people, they need a job, so they take it. If it leads to other things, great. If it gives them exposure to get better roles, more lucrative roles, great. And it's very, very much reflective of real life. Because Star Trek Voyager, for example, like Kate Mulgrew, who plays Captain Catherine Janeway, the lead, she'd never watched Star Trek in her life. She'd heard of it, but she wasn't a fan of it. She didn't really know a lot about it. Like, when her agent called her, like, saying, hey, we've got Star Trek Voyager coming up, they're looking for a female captain, and she's like, that's the one in space, right? Like, I read Born with Teeth, so it just has that part of Voyager where she gets the part. Whereas with the Star Trek reboot, Carl Urban and Simon Pegg were huge Star Trek fans, and so they absolutely loved it. And even then, when I was having the reboot for Star Trek, the movies, I was like, really? Simon Pegg is Scotty? Really? And even Zachary Quinto, whenever he was announced for Spock, I was like, but he's Sylar. He's Sylar in Heroes. And to this day, anytime I watch Star Trek Into Darkness or Star Trek Beyond, I literally just see Sylar when I see Zachary Quinto as Spock. I am not sorry, but, you know, sorry Zachary Quinto. And that's what Danielle's going through, because Darian is this heartthrob on this teen sitcom, you know, kind of like The OC meets Dawson's Creek. I think he's kind of like the heartthrob, you know, girls all fawn over him, you know, he has the pecs out and everything, and so girls are squealing, and she's like, seriously, I'm supposed to take him seriously as the lead actor in my favorite television show of all time. You do have to get past the, you know, actor side. You know, there are actors that you constantly see as the one role, and then they try to branch out and do other roles. Darian is wanting to break out of that mold as this teen heartthrob, this young adult heartthrob, but he really wants to do this job justice. He really wants to do this role justice. And you see that through his chapters and in his communications with Danielle. Another aspect of the book that I adored, and I think would be quite overwhelming for people that aren't necessarily nerds and geeks and trekkers and Whovians and everything like that, but it is the amount of science fiction drops in it. I adored it because they are all my favorite shows. I know the little references that are made for each fandom. I understand how it fits into the whole arc of the book. References to Stargate, references to Star Wars, references to Marvel actors and characters, and I think people that aren't necessarily fans or into fandom would necessarily understand. They'd be like, what the hell? So I think that would be like slightly overwhelming to people that aren't, you know, like, not that I'm saying that they won't enjoy it, they probably will enjoy it, but they just might not get the full experience available in this book. With cosplaying as well, it's a big feature in this book because Elle is making this cosplay. It's another aspect of this book because people see cosplayers as stupid or weird or as pathetic, that they dress up as these characters and like go out in public. I love cosplayers. I adore cosplayers. I know a couple of cosplayers and they are phenomenal. Like, their attention to detail is incredible. They know everything inside and out. They are dedicated to getting this correctly. I don't cosplay personally, but that's because, you know, I can't sew worth a damn. All I have is my com badge. So literally my extent of cosplaying is they are undercover on Earth and they're trying to blend in. So basically Star Trek First Contact or Star Trek Voyager Future's End. That's literally the extent of my cosplaying because I'm useless like that. I want to cosplay. I would love to cosplay. And as I said, people think cosplay is such a pathetic thing to do, but I really don't. I love that the cosplayers do what they do. If I could cosplay Captain Janeway, I would. In this book, like, that's what Chloe's like. She's like, oh, you're just a sad, but then Darian just shuts her down. He shuts her down and all of them just basically come together as one big family and just are like, no, don't you even try to tell us we're losers. So this is why I love this book so much, because it really spoke to my fangirl heart. It really grasped what it is to be a fangirl or a fanboy, and it didn't present it in a way that's kind of like, because I get that look so much from people when I tell them that I love Star Trek. People look at me like, what? You like Star Trek? Yes, I love Star Trek. What's the big deal? I love it. I love it more than anything, okay? Star Trek Voyager is my happy place. If somebody like gives me that look, that, you know, ugh, Star Trek, I walk away. Because nobody's gonna badmouth me for watching something that I love. Like, people watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I don't say a thing to them. That's why I love this book so much, because the people that love these shows aren't marginalized. They aren't scrutinized. They aren't made fun of. Because they're all in the same boat. They all love something. And that's why I love this book. That's why I love Ashley Poston for writing this book. It's just phenomenal. It made me even more proud to be a fangirl. It made me even more proud to love Star Trek. It made me even more proud to do my blog posts about Star Trek Discovery. It made me proud to be a fangirl, and it makes, and I hope that anybody else that read this book gets that message that it's great to be a fangirl. You fangirl on, you fanboy on, you do what makes you happy. For years on my live journal, my tag was I fangirl, therefore I am, and it's still true today. That's why when I finished this book, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I probably would have given it 10 out of 5 stars if I could have, because I just loved it so much. I loved everything about it. I loved just the way everything kind of moved from one chapter to the other. I didn't know at first. I was wondering, how is this going to work with 2 dual perspectives, because Elle's chapters are written in the first person, Darian's chapters are written in the first person. I didn't know how that was going to work, but it did. I absolutely adored it. I loved the characters, I loved all the fandom drops, I loved the Starfield fandom that Ashley Poston created. I just loved everything about this book. I'm so glad that I picked it up. I would recommend this to anybody that is a fangirl or a fanboy. It is just so good. So that's the end of this video, you guys. I hope you liked it. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, or if you like Geekerella, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!